Welcome back to another episode of the Great Area Podcast. I'm your host, the Mchezo Bwana, here with my co-host TJ. What's going on, TJ?
Nothing much, but
All right. So today I wanted to talk about this guy, Antonio Batista. He's some guy that's, guess he's a YouTuber. He's a Dominican, and he has some racist things to say or anti-black things to say about how much he hated black people. And just goes to my point that integration was a mistake and it doesn't benefit black people at all. And just another reason you said black people need leaders. We don't really need leaders. We need people to lead themselves because you can have misleadership and you can follow people that lead you down a wrong path like we have because integration. We fought for integration to get these people over here, but many of these people undermine us. He actually comes from one of these third world countries, and he's basically trying to shit on black people, calling us. Well, first of all, he is like Dominicans. He's specifically called out the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans. So he thinks that these people are different. So he's already distinguishing that. So he's about he was so upset and emotional that they were actually calling out racism. So this has also been a theory of mine too. When you get any person that's non-white that wants to defend racism or be a part of racism, these aren't good people. You know what I'm saying? So you can have bad people in every race, and people that go along with racism are not good people. So basically he was telling them, stop helping these jungle people, stop speaking out against racism. Basically, stop speaking out against oppression is what he's telling them. Now, we spoke out against oppression and we helped get these people over here, these ungrateful people, not all of them, but we got too many of them that undermine us like this. And for him to talk about not helping us out when we actually helped him get here, it's a slap in the face. And he said, stop helping out these monkey people, these jungle people. This guy's from the jungle. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I've been there, man.
This is how you know we dealing with ignorant, sick people. This is
Yeah,
one of
I've been there, just made a career, but it really is. It really is. It's something else. I was only to a part of it, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
So he said, put your people first. He told the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans to put your people first. He's in America. I told you before, I don't know what happened with white people to let all this immigration happen. I don't know if it was for cheap labor to undermine black people, but this has backfired on them also. Whatever the reason.
White tears.
Is that what it is? White tears, white guilt? I don't know. But the thing is, this is an invasion, and that proves it. You know what I'm saying? Put your people first. Put your, just not my opinion, but he said, put your people first in America.
Well,
he said that in America, not in Puerto Rico, not in the Dominican. He said, put your people first here. It's an invasion. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Okay, so, well, number one, to your first point, where, I said that black people do need powerful leaders. I mean, we all need powerful leaders. America needs powerful leaders, right?
Or what about great examples that you can strive to, knowing that they are flawed?
But here's the thing is, leaders that are anything but white. I mean, except for Trump, obviously. Well, all leaders are going to be scrutinized, but black leaders, they're going to find something wrong with them. They found something wrong with Jesse Jackson. They found something wrong with how was called him, Shannon Sharp.
Sharpton?
Sharpton, yeah. They found something wrong with Sharpton. The only person they really couldn't find something wrong with was Obama. I mean, they tried, but they couldn't.
But we don't need leaders. None of those people that you talked about are strong leaders. None of them have done anything for black people. None of them have actually gained power, any resources for black people. So they're weak.
I'm talking about being scrutinized. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Huey P. It doesn't matter if it's Malcolm X. It doesn't matter if it's Al Sharpton. It doesn't matter if it's Martin Luther King.
Well, how about you lead yourself? About you take responsibility and lead yourself? Because you don't know
Everybody
these
needs
people.
themselves.
I don't want somebody leading me that I don't know and that I don't agree with the direction they lead me in.
That's fine. But, not a lot of people are like that. Not a lot of people can just, carve their own path. People need leadership.
Well, what do you
They
do when
don't
you
need to
have
be.
bad leadership?
When you have bad leadership, then you rise up against it, or you vote against it, or whatever it is. That's what you do with bad leadership. Leadership should always be elected. Leadership should always be earned, elected, whatever. It should always. It should be the majority of the people, or however you want to do it. It should always be
The
elected,
thing is, you have a bad leader, you have a leader that's lying, you have a weak leader, then it can delay your progress, which is what happened with black people. Because he said, put your people first. And when we say that, a lot of these immigrants say we're being divisive and xenophobic. But actually, they say that because they understand it's power in being exclusive. And you actually get weakened by being inclusive. And we've allowed people to come in here and undermine us. And obviously, he's anti-black. And obviously,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like, you do lose power when you want to be a part of a xenophobic culture. You do lose a little your own identity. If you're like, oh man, this guy hates me, but I want to be a part of this.
Well, why would you let somebody
totally
that hates you into your circle so they can undermine? That actually is not a winning trait, and that's one of the reasons we've been losing or haven't made as much progress as we could, because we have people like this. We're saying, hey, we need immigration, we need DACA, which doesn't even make sense because I don't want to compete for jobs with other people. And then you bring this kind of mindset into this country, and you wonder why you have killers in the street. Because this guy don't give a damn about black people. He just told you that.
Here's the funniest thing.
We need to put black people first, obviously. He had a meltdown.
Yeah, he did have a meltdown. Yeah, I think he regrets it because it's not on YouTube anymore. But the funniest thing is, Puerto Ricans are the black people of the Latinos, according to my barber, who's Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, he told me that. And he was like, yeah, we're the darkest, and, we get shit upon, not Puerto Rican, Dominican, right? You get shit upon by the other Latinos. So I thought it was just kind of funny that my barber said that. This guy's going out there, he was like, man, I hate blacks. I'm just going to let you know. But then he goes, here's my favorite thing. He goes, now, like me, go ahead and like me. Here's my name, whatever. He was like, wait, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to like any black people.
Right, right.
I'm not going to let you. Yeah, like, why are you saying you're sorry? Why are you saying you're sorry? I think the guy did have a meltdown. His girl probably got picked up by a black dude.
Somebody told him, you could tell somebody told him that they had African blood, and that's what had made him have that meltdown. Because you can tell from that's what he was saying. He was like, don't tell me I'm African. Don't tell me that. And he sounds jealous. He said, because he kept saying, y'all want to be black? Stop acting like them.
Man,
he was really emotional.
By a black dude. His girl got smashed up by a black
dude. Maybe so.
Yeah, he just woke up today. He was like, hey, baby, what's going on? She was like, no, man, I'm with Tyrone right now.
But you can see why.
I said Tyrone because it was Erykah Badu's song.
This guy.
Like, you have to in the comments.
Oh, yeah, okay. No problem. But what I was saying is that, so he comes from this asshole country. No disrespect to the good Dominicans, but the fact of the matter is, if the Dominican Republic was so great, then they wouldn't have to flee to come over here to benefit off our resources and the things that we build here. We can't do the same thing over there.
I would stop saying that. So you think of yourself as an American or a black American? Which? Both or one or the other?
I'm black, but I'm American also.
Okay, well, someone asks you, are you a black American or are you American? Do you think of them as separate or what?
Not really. No, not really.
Okay.
But he thinks that he's separate from us.
Hold on. But that's the whole thing. Like, whatever argument you use is the same argument that white people use against you. It's like, oh yeah, it was like a shithole country, right? Well, if it's a shithole country, why are you doing so well? If you're supposed to take care of yourself, blah blah blah. White people will say the same thing about you in your neighborhoods.
What do you mean?
So you can't really use that argument.
What do you mean?
A lot of racist people will say that. They'll be like this. It's like, well, if blacks are so great, why don't they own everything? Why don't they run this? Why don't they run that? Because
Well,
they can't.
well, I
You
mean,
know,
yeah. So that's two different things, though. So black people can run
is
things,
it?
yeah. But the whole
Well,
thing is,
well,
we're
they
not
can.
fleeing. We're not fleeing somewhere else and then shitting on the people that's there. You know what I'm saying? We not. It's not like we fleeing America and going to the Dominican Republic and then shitting on them and saying, "Hey, y'all don't have y'all shit together. Y'all ain't shit." And that's what he's doing, and that's what some of them do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what some of them do. That's what it is different than what you're talking about because he came, he made the choice. His family they made the choice to leave where they were at because they weren't able to make it amongst his own people. They weren't able to build up anything, so they had to come where we're at, and then they talking shit about us. Well, hold on. If you so great and we so shit, why don't you go back to where you at and show us how it's done? And they can't do it. So, it's not nothing against them, but if you come over here with that racism and that anti-black stuff, then I don't want you over here because you're just making my life harder than it has to be. Life for everybody is challenging. And I don't need somebody who I'll fight to help come over here talking shit about me and making my life harder. It's ungrateful. And it's in a sense of entitlement.
Okay.
How do they get
Okay.
how do they
I
get
understand
entitled
that
like
now.
that?
Well, hold on. Like now, I understand the whole integration thing because I'm like, man, what do you mean? What's wrong with it? So, what you're basically saying is it's wrong for immigration, like people to be here and integrate people if they're not going to accept America. If they're not
Yeah.
going to accept things.
Yeah. I mean, he's actually
That,
undermining the group of Americans that actually fought to get him over here.
well, what if that dude was born here? If he was born
Well,
here,
I
is he
don't think
allowed
he was
to?
born here. I don't know because he's an immigrant. Because look, hold on, we built this thing up, so we helped build up America and
We
all
as black people.
black people and some white people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say basically America is as a black and white thing. And what I'm saying is, hey, as far as black people, we have stock in this country. So you can come over here, you can come over here and contribute, make a contribution, but you're only coming over here because we helped build this. You didn't help build it, and they believe that the lie that the media, white media, tells them that immigrants built this country, which is not true. Immigrants are not going to come to another country if it's not already built up. Doesn't make sense.
You might have a point there, but I mean, immigrants go to countries for all different reasons. The reason they do come to America is for better opportunity.
Right.
So what you're saying, so the reason you're saying this, is we have to assume all these things, right?
Assume what?
Assume that this dude. Well, you have to assume that this dude's an immigrant.
We know he's an immigrant because he said Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, so he's not claiming that his roots are here. He's saying his roots are not here. His roots are in the Dominican Republic. That's what I'm saying. This is like a slap in the face. And he said,
I wish I would have heard the whole thing. Man.
He said, "Put art people first. Put art people first. What are you American? You not American? See, these people, they will fly. How can you fly a foreign flag in our country? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. It's
not crazy to me because that's what we're built on. We're built on free speech. And we're a melting pot, and we're just recently with the George Floyd thing and all that stuff, people are trying to see it, but this stuff has been happening for the last 3 years, but nobody was talking about it. They were talking about it the last election year. This stuff's still been happening. Nobody cares except the black community, and all of a sudden George Floyd happens, and like how egregious does it need to be? Right, but the point is free speech is okay, man. It's all right,
Yeah, I'm not knocking what he said. I'm not knocking what he said, but if what he said,
to fly their foreign flags, man.
Okay,
we can't do that. We can't do that in other countries.
Right. So why is it allowed here? You're actually giving up your equity in the country, and then actually downgrading it because these people with that attitude. He doesn't have an attitude of building. He has an attitude of tearing down. I mean, he come over here. We are. Listen, dude.
The property value.
This guy, from him where he's from, bringing his negative attitude Well, he's saying don't help these monkey people, so he has a negative, you know, say he has a negative attitude towards us, and he bringing his attitude, that funky attitude that didn't help his community build where he was from over here, and is tearing down our neighborhood. We got to cut the dead weight, and we'll go higher as black people. We've been tricked. They tricked us. They've been using us. We just need to go ahead and see that. Stop saying black and brown.
Duped.
Yeah, we've
been bamboozled.
We did all this stuff.
Run amok. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
He said, let us kill ourselves and let those monkey people kill themselves. Well, if we would have said the same thing about to you, then you wouldn't even be over here. I guess we should have said that. Bad leadership, man. Bad leadership.
Puerto Rican. So yeah, I dated a Puerto Rican, for example. I'm not saying all Puerto Ricans are like this, because that would be a stereotype. So I dated a Puerto Rican. I was like, well, do you ever date black kids? She was from Brooklyn, and she was like, oh no, never. I'm like, why? They cheat and they steal. I'm like, God, there's such a fucking simple way to look at things. It's like they cheat and they steal. It's like, and that's, we always talk about it. That's the craziest thing about racism. It was just a little seed planted in one person's mind. It's the world's simplest and dumbest thing, and it just spread to everybody.
So Puerto Ricans, honestly, they don't cheat and steal.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you get the point. Just the dumbest thing. Like, do white people cheat and steal? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. From the richest to the poorest, brother. From the richest to the poorest. So it's just that thing, that we talk. And we end up talking about racism a lot on this thing, just because we really don't care. We could sit there and we're comfortable with the conversation. We don't get all high and mighty with it. We talk about it like we're sitting on the fucking front porch or something.
Yeah. And I'm just listening. Like, we all learning, so.
Yeah, we don't get all politically correct about it.
Right.
But this is one guy that I don't think his ignorance can be cured. Obviously, he found out his baby was not his.
Is that what it was, man?
Black man. It had to be, man. I mean, like, how do you get that mad? How do you think people are going to be like, oh, man, this is okay?
Well, he must have thought he had white support.
Well, and for you to put it out just after George Floyd, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
After George Floyd, people are fucking looking. They are watching. Like, white people are like, holy shit.
Yeah, are you guys policing? Are you? Well, what's going on with that? It seems like it's overkill with the claims of racism. This one lady was saying that she felt like white people were being guilted and put in a position where they need to denounce their whiteness, like they can't be proud to be white. And she was saying that it was hurting her kids.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people are being guilted into it. But George Floyd is a great example. But guess who else was? Fucking Rodney King. Fucking Rodney King was a great example. That happened, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
20 years ago, whatever it was. He was a great example too, but everybody forgot about him. And police brutality got worse. At least Rodney King lived and got some money. It just went by the wayside. This is what I always talk about. Dude, I've been talking about this, with my friends since fucking 96. Not one person wanted to talk to me about this shit. Not one.
Yeah, it's painful.
White people want to ignore it.
Yeah.
Now, what happens with George Floyd? George Floyd was just such a perfect, obvious example. Just obvious. Right? But you remember that black girl that got beat up outside her own fucking clubhouse in her subdivision. Right? The 15-year-old black girl by that cop. You see all these Karens out here, telling the black dude, like, to put away his dog and stuff like that. And literally saying, like, hey, I'm going to tell him an African-American, man. See, that's how you know they're not woke, because they call him African-American.
Okay, so if they call him African-American, they're not woke.
I believe so.
What does woke mean for a white person?
White person can never be fully woke. They can never be fully woke. The only thing the only thing that makes a white person woke is they're actually trying to rid themselves of their ignorance.
Okay.
Right? That's what I believe. But, a white person can never be fully woke. They could be invited to the cookout. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They could be invited to the cookout, but they could never be fully woke. kind of deal. Like Bill Clinton, he's invited to the cookout, right?
Hell no, he ain't.
You know.
Hell no, he ain't. So, I want to ask you this. So,
Right.
one thing about slavery is you get the happy slave, and they don't understand that they are slaves or have been enslaved. Some of these Hispanics, even some of these Asians, these Spanish speaking
Right.
countries. So, explain to me. So, how does a
Mhm.
Mexican and a Puerto Rican both speak Spanish?
Because they were colonized by Spain.
See, but I think colonization is a watered down. I think it goes down a little bit better. It's like a chaser than saying slavery, and they don't understand that, or they don't want to understand
Oh,
it. So they think they a little bit
well,
better. We didn't get put in slavery. We just got colonized. That's why we speak Spanish, and they actually
I gotta
identify with
say,
Spain.
I got one of my best friends, he's from the Congo, and I'm gonna send him like all these things, but and he's one of the people I talk to about the most. But he speaks French. Congo's like one of the most. Is it tropical? I don't say tropical, but it's just tons of jungle, right? How the fuck do they know French? Oh, it was King Leopold, I think. I think it was King Leopold.
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
no, no, no. He's Belgian. But
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
yes, Suriname is Dutch. That was the next thing I was gonna say. I think it's Suriname. I used to work with this guy. It's like a black dude, and he's like, I'm like, oh man, do you speak French or whatever? He was like, no man, I'm from Suriname. And I was like, oh, because he had an accent. And I was like, so what do you speak? He was like, Dutch. Why the fuck does that mother speak Dutch? Why does he speak Dutch?
Because
That's
Dutch people went
really
over there
far
and
away.
conquered them, and they see colonization as a better. They think it's a step above slavery. They don't realize it's the
Who
same
thinks
thing.
that?
That's what they
Who
think.
thinks
These
that?
people, the people that think that, like some of these immigrants, they think that slavery and colonization are two different things, and it's not. You know what
No,
I'm
it's
saying? Yeah. So you say it's not either, right?
no,
Yeah.
no.
They lying to themselves. It's a mind fuck, man. They just lying to themselves.
Some places it may not be slavery, but it is conquering a people.
If you,
Colonization is conquering a people.
hey,
I
look,
don't know if they make them slaves every single place that they went. I can't tell you that, but I know for most of the time they did.
it's slavery. If somebody take your language and take your God away and replace it with theirs, then you it's slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's no different.
So we did that to the Native Americans, man.
Yeah, y'all
We
did
did it to
that.
the
Don't,
Native
yeah,
Americans.
yeah. Make sure you say y'all did that.
We,
But
we
you,
need we need to talk about that one day, man. We need to talk about the Native Americans.
we could,
Yeah, we need to talk about that one day. Let's see how many people want to like this and talk about the Native Americans, because people don't talk about them enough. They're talking about black people and shit like that. Native Americans like standing in the corner like, hey,
yeah, we could talk about them.
um, we were here first,
Yeah. Um,
and you
and you what?
you basically told us we couldn't. You basically told us we had to live on these little places. We'll give you, we'll give you money. You're allowed to live in these places cheap, whatever.
So why do you
They
think that
enslaved them
happened?
south of them.
Why do you think that happened, man? Why do you think?
It's all about control. It's all about control, man. It's all about control. It's all about control and money.
One pattern I seen too is leadership. Your leadership can be bought off. And I noticed some of those chiefs got bought off. You get some of these African countries, they've been bought off. Some of these South American countries, they've been, the leaders have been bought off. So, that's another bad thing about leadership. But to get back to the whole Dominican thing, that guy, he says he's not black. So is he white to you? Is he white?
No, we've had this kind of conversation before. Is like, and I know what it is in America, and hopefully one day, I don't think it'll happen in our lifetime. Hopefully it happens in our kids' lifetimes. But the black white thing is just race is such a horrible thing. But the black white thing, if you're not white,
Then you're not white.
you're not white.
Right. If you're not white, then you're not white. But
Yeah,
they
white
pretend
people
that they want to be white. The wannabe white supremacist is worse than the real white supremacists in some cases
Well,
because they
it's like one
showing
of those
out.
things like, oh, well, it's like you're Catholic, you're Protestant. Hey, man, honestly, like you want to look at it. If I wanted to be a really bad dude, if I wanted to be a really bad person, and someone was like, and people were listening, it was like, hey, man, you're Catholic, yeah. You're Protestant, yeah. We hate each other in some countries, yeah. But guess what? We're white in America. We're white in America, motherfucker. You know, like we're not any kind of Asian, Indian, or anything like that. And you know, white people don't care. Like they, you know, you call a white person a cracker unless they really have low self-esteem. They don't give a shit.
What difference does it
Yeah,
make if
well,
you still
because
have the resources and the power and the system in place for you?
in America, we are, as far as the system goes, the right color, right? And especially white males like me. Like we're the right color. You know, like we can get away with damn near everything. You know, if you're white and you're not poor, man, you're doing all right. And you're a man and you're straight, man, you're fucking killing it. You're batting 1,000, you know? And those are the kind of people we need to, like, convince, like, hey, man, not everybody has it as good as you. You
Yeah,
know?
but I mean,
'Cause
part of racism is to make sure white people have it better than other people.
But that's the whole thing about racism, man. And it's crazy is, and I talk about this all the time, is our lives are so good. Like people like me, I'll tell you straight up, white, middle class, I, white, middle class, straight, male, right? No one in America has it better than me, right? If I wanted to do something, I could go do it, right? Now America's getting better, but if I wanted to go do something, and let's say everybody has the same IQ, everybody has the same whatever, you know, this is the way racism works. I'm going to fly up that ladder. Everybody else is not. You know, I'm going to have a great life in America. Everybody else is not. You know, women, black people, you know, anybody that's not white, you know, they're going to have to struggle. Now, the one cool thing about America is like, yeah, do they do better? You know, do some of them do better than me? And, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, and that's great. It wasn't fucking easy. It was not easy for anybody. The person that has the easiest road, as long as he doesn't get married, and that's another thing we already talked about. a white, straight man has it good, as long as he's making money.
So you have the easiest road to
Right.
success. In the race, you got the easiest road to success.
In the race war, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
One real quick thing you said. So, do you consider white men and white women to be separate or something? Because you kind of made that distinction. Okay.
Yeah. There's definitely a distinction between male and female in this country, yes.
Okay.
In most countries, yes. Yeah.
All right.
And that's one thing that, you know, that's a different topic. You know, how it is.
Okay.
You know, like one of the best things you could do, or like how a lot of people are raised, according to them, is, you know, you got a stay-at-home wife, you got your kids, and not everybody feels like this who has a stay-at-home wife and kids, okay? But, you know, some people feel like, no, I take care of my wife, she doesn't have to work, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, she's in the kitchen, you know, and she's not allowed to say shit, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not saying no. I think women are absolutely 100% equal to men, white, black, or whatever.
Just to pretty much close it out, we've made a mistake by trying to get immigration laws passed, because these people, obviously he's not the only one, and you can see why we haven't had much progress as far as reparations, because people like him won't vote for reparations, and we allow him to get over in here. So very ungrateful, entitled. Like I said, if you're so great, go back to your own country and make it happen. Black people, from my observations, I'm not, because I don't preach or make, you know, suggestions, but just from my observation, it looks like the best thing to do would be to circle the wagons and be very exclusive, because if you got people like this, you know, basically drilling holes in the ship, it should be no surprise why you know, you're not making much headway. And like I said, it's not all of them, but it's too many. And you know, you got these confused people. He's ignorant, he's confused, and whether he's ignorant or not, he still is a hindrance to any black progress with his attitude, and he's actually an enemy of black people. And there's other immigrants out there like that. We helped them out, and they come over here and have a very bad attitude towards us, and we can't be surprised as to why we have struggles getting laws passed. And you know, some of these people, they even have more rights than us. It's just crazy. Big mistake, misleadership.
Yeah, I would just say that, I'm a very, I talk about this all the time. I'm a very kumbaya guy. I know everybody's not always going to get along, but I would like everybody to be on the same playing field, because I'm one of those people that, I don't want to beat a guy by cheating. When he's on the same, like, I'm not going to go flatten some guy's tires just to beat him in a race. I'm not that kind
Of
of
course
person.
not.
So
Of course not.
right. Like, I don't want to be like that.
Sure.
So I would rather everybody be on the same playing field.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
be on the same playing field. And then we all go at it. It's a capitalist society. That's the way it works. And I honestly think women, LGBTQ, I always get that messed
What?
up, but the queer community, all of them. Yeah,
All right.
I always get that messed up.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Come on,
there's too
man.
many
Keep it
consonants
real.
there, man.
Right. Now it's another one
Like, I don't
because
care.
it's LGBTQ plus. Like what? What kind of craziness is going on here, man? LGBTQ plus?
And people figure themselves out, man. Like, I'm okay with it. They're figuring themselves
All
out.
right,
And,
right.
and they're allowed to do it. They're allowed to do it right now.
Oh yeah,
Man.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Just don't tell me I have to like it. You know what I'm saying? Just live your life. Live your life. Don't tell me something is right when we can see it's
Well,
it's off.
well,
It's not what it says. It's not what you say you are. You can't say you're a woman and you were born with a penis.
that's a whole different one, man. That's a whole
Right.
different one.
Right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we can talk about that next
Right.
time.
Right.
And that's actually a good one, because I'm confused on that one too. But that's why we do this podcast.
Right. We're just trying to learn.
I'm just trying to learn. And
Right.
like, honestly, I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to eat. I don't really care. I want everybody to eat. But I really don't like it when people like that guy come out. The guy we were talking about, the Puerto Rican
Antonio
guy.
Batista.
Antonio, yeah,
Dominican.
you gotta say his name. Antonio Batista, Dominican guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'll get
Wow.
mad for saying Puerto Rican. Yeah, he'll get just as mad for calling him Puerto Rican.
Ain't no black and brown coalition, man. For real.
There should be. There also should be.
Well,
Like,
they not helping us. Obviously, they and like I said, it's not all of them. But I've had Dominicans tell me, "Hey, you know what? We had bad impressions of black people, but once we got around black people, we understood." So this is the person that actually told me that. So who knows? You got to understand, they under the same brainwashing and propaganda as all the rest of us. So
No, you made the perfect point. You actually made the perfect point. The perfect point is, the more you get around people, the more you understand they're like you. The more you get around someone, the more you understand they're just like you. They're just trying to live. They're just trying to be all right. They're not trying to hurt you.
right.
Like, all these things, like, born black, born gay, born black, born whatever. Like, you just want to live, support your family, be good.
Just leave people alone. T.O. said you can't fight another man's jealousy. If a person is jealous, if they're not willing to do what you're willing to do as far as putting in the time and effort, and they want to sit around and mope and waste their time, then they're going to be jealous and they're going to try to, take a shortcut. And, that's when you have a lot of conflict. This world provides enough for us to where we can do major things as a species. But, hey, you got jealous people out here.
Try to get along. Well, you got to try to
Right.
get along, and any jealous people, man, you got to cut them out. And the one thing I did say earlier, and I said I was talking about this since '96, and all of a sudden people are just like blowing up Facebook and stuff like that, saying, "Oh, justice for George Floyd, blah 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 blah."
So you've been ahead of the curve.
I'm not even saying that, like, kind of, but
Right.
if you're gonna do that, do it all the time. Do it all the time, every time it happens. So me, I've been kind of silent on it. Because I'm like, okay, well, you guys are starting to get it. Let's see who really gets it. And I'm still starting to get it. I'll never fully get it, obviously, because I'll never be black. But we're starting to get it.
We just need to do a better job of communicating. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I think the world's going in a good place. But the thing I think, and I know nothing about police procedures, right? And we're going back to George Floyd now. The one thing about police procedures, like, I don't understand is, it's a really hard job. Now, I think they teach them to shoot. From what I've heard, maybe I'm wrong. Somebody please educate me. But they're taught to empty a clip. They're taught to at the end of the day, If someone has a gun or someone's that violent or something like that, take care of your own life. Okay, yeah, I understand that. But
this had nothing to do with a gun. I mean,
right, had nothing
he
to do
was
with the gun,
already
had nothing to do with
handcuffed,
being armed.
and it
I mean,
was
I
so
understand he was a
brazen. I didn't see it, but from what I hear, he knew he was being recorded and didn't even care. And like I said, even when you have conservatives talking about charge this guy with murder, you know he did something that was off code and should have never been done.
Definitely not taught. And what really makes me feel bad is I just found out one of the guys, that was his first week on the job, and that guy was training him. Yeah, he's not going to riddle his career. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what, I mean, he should. But I don't think defund the police, but I think actually fund them more for reform the police.
This one guy, he told me you can't be afraid to do the right thing, and maybe they were afraid to do the right thing.
That kid's mind. Well, here's what's going to happen. The kid does the right thing, right? He goes and tackles that guy, gets him off his neck, punches everybody else, gets him off his neck. George Floyd lives, right? That kid's career's done. And no one would have known if he would have saved a life, right? But at the same time, I mean, that's a hard decision right then.
Yeah, I'm not saying that was an easy decision. Yeah, but, are you afraid? Like I said, the guy told me, you can't be afraid to do the right thing. And some people are. And that's why we have a lot of things continue to happen in this country that can be avoided. And to be fair, some of the Dominicans have spoken out against that guy. So, of course, it's not all of them. It's just too many times we can't have these people over here with that kind of mindset. And because if you're not helping us, what's the point of you being over here? You actually hurting us. So
one of my family members said today, and it really upset me. And I can't talk to them. They're older. They were born in the 40s. So it doesn't make an excuse. It means you just haven't learned for 80 years, right? You refuse to keep up. But they were like, well, what about the rioting? It's like, God damn it.
It's deflection.
Yeah, it's deflection. It's all it is. Exactly right. Who cares about the riot? Like,
right,
how many people got killed from the riot?
Deflection is the telltale sign of retreat. That's what deflection is. It's retreating.
Ignorant. You're willful ignorance.
You're retreating. Ignorant. Yeah, you want to say willful ignorance? Yeah. Because they don't want to. You got to understand. The truth can is like a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. I've even had to do that when I say, you know what, I'm blaming other people for things that I didn't do.
I was wrong.
Yeah, I have to accept that there were some things that I can do.